everybody. Good evening. Good evening. It's good to have you here. Now we're going up on the second half of the week, officially over the hump, but the momentum only grows. So it's the 24th of July, Thursday night. You already know the year. It's 5 years from now. And, well, we had I have an entire show written that was supposed to be for tonight, and I think that the entire show could be used again. But we had to postpone a little bit. I had Jay Dyer and Timothy Gordon coming on. Timothy Gordon just had surgery not too long ago. He had hernia surgery, and just not feeling strong enough, well enough to do the show, which I completely understand. So we pushed it back, and I think there's a good chance that we might be able to do this in a couple of days. Or a few days. On the 29th of July, I'm hoping that maybe next Tuesday they can come on, because then everything I was going to use on the cultural end of things, with not only Hulk Hogan's death now, but Ozzy Osbourne's, and how that segues nicely into some of the other stuff that I wanted to do with them. I think that should be able to stay preserved until next week. So we'll see. We'll see if it keeps. I had to put it on ice. But you know what that means? That means that from about 4:37 p.m., I was without a show. So I said, okay, well, obviously, there's only one thing to do. There's a whole bunch of news items that I had that I thought would be interesting topics in and of themselves. I'm going to open up the lines. We're going to run through a lot of them tonight. And there's a lot. There really is a lot. So what I'm going to invite you all, including all of you Badlanders who are on with us, because it is Thursday night. Therefore, we are syndicated on Badlands, and it makes it a special event indeed. I am going to require all of you to blitz the phone lines. I'm even going to set up a hotline tonight for first-time callers that you can call wherever the hell you want. We're going to have a lot of room for topics, and you're going to see as I lay them all out here. We've got funny stuff, interesting stuff. Who the hell knows? And then hopefully at the end of the night, we're all able to zip this one up, feel content with the work we did, and then hopefully, God, please, we can go to sleep and have a nice night's sleep. Feel like I haven't had one of those in a long time. Stop calling already. This one guy's calling right now who will literally just press redial the entire 2 hours. Makes me wonder if he's actually watching the show. Stop. Anywho, welcome. Welcome one, welcome all. And thank you again to John and the entire crew over there at Badlands for having us here tonight. So what are we going to do? What are we going to start off with? Just a little bit of something. Let's see. I'm going to bring this up for a second. We have a couple of grab bag things up front, and then, I don't know. It's going to be up to you guys. Oh, go and get your copy of The Body by Stephen King. It's going to be an easy 44-page-a-week assignment. It's going to be so easy. We got Lindsay Sharman coming back on for that book club. This is, of course, for you monthly sponsors who read alongside of us. Please, it's going to be so fun. You can find the PDF out there. You don't have to even buy it. It's just, it's out there. So that's coming up on, what is that, the first Monday in August. What is that, the 7th, the 8th? The 4th? The 4th. Oh. I think I corrected myself. Anyway, what else is it? Okay, so there's a few things up front. Listen to these stories. Ready for this? I was talking about this with Mike King the other night about situational awareness, especially in rural areas. Like, what if you're pulled over by a cop along a long, dark country road or something like that? You see lights flashing behind you. They're settling right behind your car. And, of course, the duty-bound thing to do is to pull over and assist the cop, and the least resistance that you can put up there, and just make it all go away. What did I do, officer? What if it's not them? What if it's not them? Well, here's an instance. A convicted felon impersonating police officer arrested in Hemet, wherever the hell that is. Probably said it wrong. A convicted felon impersonating a police officer was arrested on Tuesday in the city of Hemet. The suspect, identified as Marshall Goodnight, was pulled over by Hemet police after he was observed activating emergency lights and committing multiple vehicle code violations. Goodnight was riding a white motorcycle with the words traffic and public safety inscribed on the side. According to the Hemet Police Department, Goodnight was found wearing a uniform closely resembling a local law enforcement agency, along with a duty belt and what appeared to be a Glock-style pistol. For officer safety, Goodnight was detained and disarmed. A future search revealed that Goodnight was also carrying 2 Taser electronic control devices, an ASP baton, and container of OC spray. Both electronic weapons were function tested and found to be operational, the Hemet Police Department said. So, he's a convicted felon, and he has firearms-related weapons charges in the past and all that stuff, and there he is. What is he just trying to get through traffic? Just trying to get around town a little bit more? Role-playing? Out of his mind? Maybe a little bit of all those things. But again, I thought that this was interesting to bring up because of what we were talking about with Mike King the other night. So if you get pulled over by a dingy-looking police officer in a semi-straight, then again, you're looking through your rear view mirror. How much can you assess the body type of the motorcycle? Some of you guys probably can. But make sure you call the real police until you pull over. All right, here's another thing for you. Tesla diners. Have you heard about this? Take a look at this. This was posted by Tesla Economics on Twitter, and it said the following: the Tesla diner reminds me that the future is worth getting excited about. This was my first time arriving, and I couldn't even find the words except, wow, this is exactly what I imagined the future to be. Charging my Tesla, grabbing a burger and a drink, watching a movie, all in one futuristic place, surrounded by the products and the people I love. And Tesla just made it real. So, I mean, here it is. This is a 2-minute video. So somebody's rolling up on one of these new Tesla diners, and there is an outside movie theater. It's essentially a drive-in theater. And it has a kind of a Jetsons feel for those of you who are in podcast land right now, a circular concentric circles that are kind of like elevating and stuff like that. A neon-like Jetsons kind of a feel to it, and it's a diner, you know. Feel like there's got to be some kind of I don't know what the inside is like. Maybe it's got a Johnny Rockets kind of a feel or something like that. You can go get some burgers, shake, and a good milkshake, I should say. A lot of bad milkshakes out there. Once you start eating clean, what you realize is the milkshakes that you used to love growing up, not only have they changed formula time and time again, but once you spend a little bit of time away from them, and, you know, especially since we were eased, like the milkshakes we were drinking at McDonald's in 1992, we were probably eased into the toxic sludge that they are today. And if you spend any time away from them, you realize that those milkshakes suck ass. Absolutely. It is just ass. So I wonder if they have good milkshakes in here. It looks like it has to have a shake in a joint like this. This has to be a grand opening. I don't know why it's that busy.
Wow, the line starts all the way over there.
So there's all the charging stations. And here's the thing. I mean, Tesla diners, I guess they're going to be a thing. It's futuristic, but it also reminds me of the drive-in diners from the 50s. It does have that kind of a feel where all the girls would come out with your orders, you know, skating along in the roller skates and stuff like that. I'm sure one of those days it's going to be an Optimus robot or something like that bringing it to your car. But, you know, I guess the whole thing here is, why not? Why not? If you got the money and you're really committing to this is going to be the future. If Tesla If you work at Tesla and you're in research and development, then this is the kind of stuff you got to be thinking of, I have to imagine. Because what else are people going to do when they are refueling, recharging for an hour? I'm sure it'll be some kind of a social attraction. People who don't drive Teslas might go there to eat just to be among the hustle and bustle. But other than that, it makes sense if part of the deal of driving one of these things is that along the way you're going to have to set aside random hours or very well planned hours to charge these things to get however much longer you're going to. I don't know. So I guess if that's just part of your routine and your planning, it's all right. Here's another one for you. Pennsylvania nurse uses 20 aliases. This actually came from R.J. Williams. Pennsylvania nurse used 20 aliases or aliases, 7 social security numbers. Where'd you get those? To illegally treat patients. A woman accused of impersonating 4 nurses from other states and using around 20 aliases since 2020 has been arrested and charged with dozens of counts, police said. Shannon Nicole Womack, 39 years old, has been charged with 43 counts, including endangering the welfare of care-dependent person, identity theft, forgery, and falsely pretending to hold a license, according to court records. Womack is also charged with use and possession of drug paraphernalia, according to court records. What paraphernalia is that? She was pulled over by police in a routine traffic stop in April on Interstate 79. There she is. They found multiple forms of identification, prescription medications prescribed to different victims, medical documents, various pieces of medical equipment, they said. So my question is, she was using identities of nurses all over the place. My question is, is there any harm that can be directly linked to her care of people? That's what I want to know. Bail was set at $250,000, and her next appearance is going to be Tuesday, July 29th. See about that. Doesn't say anything about people who were harmed by her in particular. But my, oh my. All that effort, you could have just become a nurse, you know what I mean? It's not like there's not enough aid out there or something else if money was an issue. At least you wouldn't be going to jail. I mean, if you think she's going to jail, who knows? Maybe she will. Maybe she will. Does anybody go to jail anymore? That's the real question. When we come back, we're going to jump into some bigger topics. These are the ones I really want to talk to you guys about. The birth rate is hitting an all-time low. What would you do to stop it? What would you do to replace it? Have sex. Okay. Other than that, what would you do to replace? What would you remove from the environment? I want to hear calls about that. That's the first one we'll do. Then we're going to get into this incredible meeting between Trump and Jerome Powell. Kind of embarrassing. There's a little bit of an update on the Candace Owens situation that I think is pretty funny with Macron and his wife. And I don't know. There's more. Uber. There's some more stuff out of Uber. Anyway, second half we'll talk about Hulk Hogan. We'll take your calls. We'll talk about we can actually spend a little bit more time on all the celebrity deaths that are happening right now. It's just all over the place, man. It's not even celebrities. I don't know. It's been a very strange couple of months. Been on edge all summer so far. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way. Could just be me. Definitely why I'm not sleeping too well. But yeah, this week has been chaotic and kind of surreal. We'll get to that right after this. Get your phones all warmed up. We'll be right back.
Jesus.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's get them.
Hey, okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? So, like I said before, for those of you who are just joining us live a little bit later and missed the opening, we had two big guests on tonight, friends of mine that I love hanging out with at the same time. I had some really great topics of conversation, especially as it pertained to their specialties, which is talking about the structure and the history of both, respectively, the Roman Catholic Church and Eastern Orthodox. That was Jay Dyer and Timothy Gordon. We'll have it back. We'll have them back on. I have questions. The questions I had, I wanted to, kind of formulate a little bit of a dialectic. They are going to actually be debating each other, I believe, on Elijah Schaefer's show sometime in middle of August. And I'm, whenever they pop up in certain streams and they go at it with each other, and it's always very respectful. They're friends, but I got a lot of questions for both of them, and it was going to be a really good show tonight, and it will be. So hopefully next week. But either way, that's why we are doing a little bit of a shift tonight, and the shift in the format is going to shift to you, ladies and gentlemen, to you. I'm going to need you to call in. All right. Now, very soon the lines will be open, and I'm going to be giving you a heaping pile of topics that you can choose from. Whatever the hell it is, call in with a nice, concise thought and let me know, because I'm interested. And also, it'll make this 2 hours go by in an absolute flash. Okay? And then tomorrow night, I have some culture crash kind of topics that I want to bring up. It'd be interesting. I saw somebody did a little bit of a retrospective, a looking back, reminiscing through some of the craziest headlines that the Slate magazine used to put out. Oh, I remember covering Slate. They went out of business. That, and what was the other one? What was the one that the other, who was that fat catastrophe? What was her name? She's a real catastrophe. She had the HBO special. Used to be very relevant. And she had her own little feminist blog, and it just went to shit. They used to publish some crazy stuff. Anyway, looking at these Slate headlines really brought me back. So I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about some other cultural things tomorrow. We'll see who I can bring in. Matt is not in town. He's in Chicago right now, so he's not going to be in tomorrow night. But I'll see what we can gin up. Okay. So first one up is this. I have the U.S. birth rates. This is by way of CBS News. Birth rates hit an all-time low, CDC data shows. Fertility rates in the U.S. dropped to an all-time low in 2024, with fewer than 1.6 children being born per woman. Federal data released Thursday shows the U.S. was once among only a few developed countries with a rate that ensured each generation had enough children to replace itself, about 2.1 kids per woman, but it has been sliding in America for close to 2 decades. Close to 2 decades. Oh, and of course, they say as more women are waiting longer to have children or never taking that step at all. That's definitely a part of it. There is a very sad aspect that is the choice of not going that way, and it has been nurtured into people. There's always been those aunts, those uncles in your life, those friends that never got married, never had children for any reason. I will never ask somebody, so why haven't you had kids? Or why aren't you having more? Because you want to know something? It's a challenge. There are other things going on right now. I know that there are cultural reasons why everybody is just dipping out and just removing themselves from any kind of a long-term commitment situation. Men are becoming a lot more hesitant to get involved with modern women in the United States. That is just a trend. It's real. Both are, the happiness quotient for both of them, men and women, is dipping. And when you talk about commitment, is there any bigger commitment than having children outside of getting married? Married, I mean, it's nothing to go get a Jiffy Lube divorce, you know? So there's definitely that cultural, there's an issue that's going on there within dating and relationships and people pairing and bonding for life and all of that stuff. But there's other stuff too. There are very loving, great men and women who are paired up. They are in committed relationships and they want to have children and they're having trouble. Everybody is. I wouldn't say everybody is. Children are being born, but you'd be surprised, especially if you have people who will open up to you and, you know, you see what it is. People are having trouble. There's a lot of other things that are going on. So I wonder what you will put on the table here. What would you clean up outside of, you know, destroying the school systems and taking away all of its lifeblood and letting it fall to the ground and let the teachers' unions find some other way to pick up the pieces and destroy the minds of both boys and girls, and have people like Barbie Rivera rise up, the cream to the top there. That would be something else, you know. So there's that. But what else would you take out of the equation, or what would you inject into the equation? You know, what minerals do you think that we are? Is there any mineral or any supplement that you believe is really the biggest reason why people are having a hard time conceiving children at any age? There's the testosterone drop. That's biochemical. So, you know, what's going on there? Is it all plastics? You can't just say it's just one thing. This is such a multi-layered cake. I wonder what you would prioritize first. But you know, CBS says, you know, women are waiting longer to have children, or never at all. So that's why we're in extinction mode. And of course, irony is that they're so tone deaf and don't understand what they're publishing when everybody's giving themselves a little bit more leeway to talk about the population collapse that's going on right now. They often forget, or they know, and they just realize that their readers just have no discernment and no real, I don't know. There's no perception that just a couple of years ago, if not a couple of months ago, they're publishing things about how the world is overpopulated and we need to bring it. Well, I mean, what are you talking about? This birth rate all-time low. Then what are you talking about? Where is the world being overpopulated? Now, there's a couple of things here. I bring it up every so often when this thing pops up, how incredibly racist it is for people who stake their flag on every kind of social engineering topic. They want to get in between people, race, sexuality, whatever the hell it is, to say that the world is overpopulated, but we're not the one, but admitting we are not the ones populating here in the first world, in North America, in Europe. We're not populating anymore. We're going extinct. They're saying that black and brown countries are the ones that need to take it easy with the breeding, which is incredibly racist. But that's just low-hanging fruit at this point, because we've talked about that time and time again. There's more to it. Of course, now I'm forgetting. There's more to that, and the real where it comes back around to me is not only how the world is going to be going downhill. How, you know, who needs to be really stopped now? Are you saying that you need to find a way to reduce the number of black and brown people in the world, since they're the ones the ones that are breeding? But the other thing there too is, what is the real population of the world? I must have brought this up. It might be 4 or 5 years ago at this point, and I forgot who I was talking about it with. I was on somebody else's show, and we were going back and forth and about one topic or another, and population came up. And I really wonder about how you calculate the population of the world. Yeah, there are far more robust, cultures out there that even though they pale in comparison to us when it comes to other types of things that we have going on in our society, like basic construction and power grids, communication, military, whatever the hell it is, we have so much more going for us. But there are places all around the world that are valuing family and reproduction and all that stuff. That's the kind of legacy that a lot of cultures are doing far better at, even though they have far less than we do. But even then, I wonder where the hell these numbers come from. Do we really have 8 billion people on the planet? Do we really? That's something I'd like to hear from you about. Okay, if it's on this subject, call in with whatever you would prioritize to boost those numbers outside of changing the culture and getting people invested in wanting to have children and sitting at the high stakes table in life and having families and children. Outside of that, which is obvious, tell me what you would prioritize from an environmental standpoint to get fertility up for both men and women. And then outside of that, even more so, call in 914-200-0269 and tell me if you believe that there's 8 billion people on the planet. And if we can trust the numbers and who's compiling them. And if you don't trust it, how many people do you think is actually on the planet? We have a pretty good census over here. How accurate is it? I don't know. They're not really serious about trying to figure out who we have living here that's actually citizens, but they love counting bodies because they love being able to apportion representation in Congress and redistrict and all that stuff. So I don't know. I have no reason to disbelieve or not believe that there aren't 300 some odd million people in the United States. But what about in Africa, in China? You really trust those Chinese numbers? India? I don't know. I don't know what I believe. What do you believe on that? So that's the one thing I'll bring up on there. Here's the next one. This was pretty interesting. I'm just going to rapid fire. Write down your thoughts and call in with them because I'm just going to put a few topics out there. Here's President Trump meeting with Jerome Powell today. The question is this the beginning of a true end the Fed movement? Or is it just some well-intentioned humiliation since he really wants Jerome Powell to drop the interest rates so that people will start buying homes again and everything else, and the rest of the Trump's economic plan can really take off, and Powell is being a stick in the mud over here. Anyway, he is hanging out at the location of a new Federal Reserve building, and he's or the old Federal Reserve building, and they're observing its renovations, and essentially he kind of ambushes Jerome Powell to show that they have been wasting hundreds of millions of dollars, and they are completely above budget and all that stuff. I love this whole part here, but take a listen. Hold on. Let me turn this off. Give me a second. Put this on. Take a listen.
Thank you very much. We're looking at the construction, and we're with the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on over. And we're
stay close to me. I'm about to cut your balls off.
Just taking a look at what's happening. It's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed. One of the reasons why I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses. Wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.
For those of you who are not watching and you're listening, Jerome Powell is standing right next to Donald Trump, looking like a small pipsqueak little guy, and he's shaking his head. He looks like a Fraggle or something like that with his hard hat on, saying that it's not 3.1 billion, it's much lower. He thinks it's a lower number, and essentially Tim Scott and Donald Trump are there to put him on the spot and show him in front of the cameras how much time and money that they're wasting and how over budget they are.
0.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
It just came out. He goes into his press file. He takes out the page. You can see that there's highlighted parts in there. He's about to throw the paper in his face.
Heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us.
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital plan.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use. But no, we don't expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger.
Danger, huh? Well, anyway. A little bit of well-meaning humiliation or something else. I don't know. That's up to you. You can comment on that as well. Anything else that you saw in that respect. Speaking of humiliation, here's another topic you can comment on because it's perplexing to me. I guess Candace Owens just has FU money at this point. And this means something to her. I don't know what the greater meaning actually is. This is Time Magazine because now she's being sued by France, by the entire country of France. She's being sued by France. Candace Owens says she won't shut up after a defamation lawsuit. Brigitte Macron is definitely a man. This is from Time Magazine. The life of Candace Owens, it works like this, said the popular right-wing commentator. She's talking about herself in the third person. That's when you know it's bad. I wake up, I stretch, I have a cup of coffee, and then I am served with a lawsuit. It's a claim, the lawsuit, that Owens previously said, quote, I would stake my entire professional reputation on that the First Lady of France, it was a man. And she, which she may now have to, as the Macron seek to take Owens to trial, filing a 219-page complaint before the Delaware court in Wednesday that alleges that she subjected them to a campaign of global humiliation. The Macrons are represented by Claire Locke, a law firm that specializes in high-profile reputation cases and is perhaps best known for serving as co-counsel for Dominion Voting Systems and its historic $800 million settlement against Fox News, which I don't understand why Fox paid at all. I don't get it. And of course it's time, so they wanted to just let everybody know $800 million against Fox over the cable network's 2020 election lies. Even though Fox was such an important part of calling all those 2020 states to make sure that it went through and to groom people into accepting it. But that's why I always thought that the $800 million was some kind of a deal that took on the appearance of a settlement, but it just come on now. I don't know. Anyway, here's the thing. It was really a last resort, said lead counsel Tom Clare, as he told CNN about the lawsuit. Listen to this part. We have attempted to engage with Owens for the last year, putting evidence in front of her. What kind of evidence is this? What kind of evidence is this? What are you talking about? Request after request that she just simply do the right thing. And enough is enough. So Owen says, I'm fully prepared to take on this battle. On behalf of the entire world, I will see you in court. You're not doing it on my behalf. I think this is silly. I think this is absolutely silly. I mean, she really went in. Here's a clip of what you said yesterday. that was put on the New York Post. Listen to this.
You were born a man and you will die a man. That's the point I'm making. So give us a sample. I'll send my doctors to take your blood. Figure it out real quick. However you want to go about this. Hey, how about just giving us some pictures again of you growing up? raising your children. That would be fine.
Listen, I'll be watching. I'll be watching, having a good time. I'm happy it's not me, especially since I just don't feel like this is very consequential at all. But what do you think's going on there? And again, why is it such a burning issue? Why is it such a burning issue? Obviously people have their opinions, but if that's just I wonder what you guys think about that. All right. So that's enough for now. 7:36 p.m. The lines are open. 914-200-0269. Lay it on me. Okay, Sean, you're up.
Frankie Valley. Hey, man.
How many sheets into the wind are you tonight, Sean?
Don't do that to me.
I don't. How many?
A couple.
Okay, well then let's get right to it then.
I mean, I got a lot to talk about this week. What would you think about? I mean, I don't think it's synchronous or serendipitous that all this happened, but I'm giving you free reign. What would you like to talk about?
What? What's on your mind? Come on. I just gave you 3 topics that you could choose from tonight alone.
I don't think that the census for the Earth is correct.
Okay, that's a great place to start. Where do you think we are? Is it more? Is it much less than 8 billion? What do you think?
I think they crushed the tablets, Frank. No, I mean, how far have you journeyed past the United States?
not very far. I've gone from New York to the Dominican Republic once over by plane. I've just been an East Coast traveler, to be honest. But I'll tell you, even along the East Coast at 30,000 feet, there's not much out there.
I'm wondering if it's just all a simulation. I don't mean to go there, but
well, I mean, that's exactly what's being implied here. And thank you for the call. If they're saying that there's 8 billion people on the planet, and if it turns out that there's not, they're simulating that reality. They want people believing that there is a growing number of people on the planet, that we're getting choked off, and we're going to live in some sort of a state of lacking resources, this and that. We have to bring the populations down. Then, of course, they get into all these silly situations where they're reporting on one thing being too much, reporting on collapse somewhere else. And it's always, and remember, it's always about pollution, and it's always about overcrowding. But we're not the ones polluting. We're not the ones that's overcrowded. We're dying off. But we have to be the ones that slice our own throat economically to pay for everybody else's climate change nonsense and turn down the thermostat on the earth and all that other. And we have to make sure that we have less children so that we can do our part while everybody else is just like burning coal and effing like rabbits. So it's one hell of a simulation, huh? Let's take a call. Oh, King got through. What's going on, King?
How and why you put up with these fucking boobs is beyond me. If I was you in your position, I'd be going Bob Grant on them. Get off my phone.
Okay. Well, what do you think? Take a topic tonight. What do you think? Do you think there's 8 billion people on the planet?
I like you, I don't know. But if I may, could I weigh in on the Candace Owens story?
Yes, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Well, if you notice, she's never gone after Blow Obama and Big Mike. And there's a lot of questions there. But that's how them people are.
See, I was actually going to ask the same thing. I said, if you're going to, you would think that the more obvious thing to do if you're broadcasting here from the United States is talk about something that if you're going to go after a couple whose sex is going to be in any way, shape, or form dubious or whatever, or official sex, I should say, then why wouldn't you start right here at home with the most obvious? I just don't understand why there's so much emphasis put on France for some reason. It's a weird obsession.
Hey. Well, we've seen what happened to Joan Rivers when she did that.
It's true. You bring up a good point with that. That's you know what? It's not only Joan Rivers, but there's a few people who have again brought up the chef from Martha's Vineyard this past.
Hello.
I know. So that's another completely unsolved mystery right there too. All right, King. Well, thanks for that.
Thank you for having me.
All right, here, let's go. 7:05. You're on the air. Go ahead and cell phone.
Hey, how's it going, man? It's Pete up in Canada.
Pete, what's going on? You know, I was just thinking about you tonight, Pete, because I put the what was it? The looped image on tonight. I said, I wonder how Pete's doing.
I'm pretty good. I've been watching. It's just I work when you're on. So today it was 36 degrees in Ontario, Canada. So they shut my welding booth down and said, "Don't melt, stay home, stay cool." So I'm sitting inside with some AC on. Morning Hulk Hogan. He was quite he was like a childhood hero. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just figured I'd call in and comment on the Candace Owens thing. What I think's going on there is like peak influencer ego, and I think your reaction is pretty bang on, because it's kind of like, that's why I watch you. Like, I still watch you, because at least you're kind of even keel with things. These people get caught into audience capture, right? And then like it's content for them. Like, I won't name names, but yesterday there was people going around freaking out, or the other day freaking out. Ozzy's a Satanist. He just died. Give it a week. So I think that's kind of what's going on with Candace. Is she's at peak influencer ego.
Mm-hmm. I can see what you're saying. You're not far off. I've seen that a lot. I work very hard at staying humble over the year. Then again, regardless who the hell they are, I have nearly 10 years on all of them, and still, that's why I like growing at this pace sometimes, because I look out there and it's just very, I don't know, embarrassing, secondhand embarrassment to see how a lot of people have actually destroyed their own brand. They're obviously still pretty viable, they're pretty popular, but there's just all those good feelings of about 10 years ago have really gone out the window. It's
the other day there was this kid named Pine Sap who was he was on that Jubilee program, and he was arguing with a dude named Mehdi Hassan, I think is his name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but essentially what happened was he got goaded into admitting that he was a fascist on YouTube in front of the whole world, then lost his he lost his job the next day, and he was pretty much made a laughing stock. And I think that kind of exemplifies what's going on here, is that there's, like, you come with experience, broadcaster experience, but people get locked into this like echo chamber where they think that the world is their news feed, right? And then they completely destroy their own lives because they're just, I don't know. I guess the internet's driving people crazy, right?
You're right on to something, man. And I know exactly who you're talking. First, that's the Quite Frankly guy.
Was it the Mehdi Hassan or the?
No, Mehdi Hassan was the guy that he was sitting across from. You're talking about the kid that kept saying "Quite Frankly" over and over again.
I didn't catch that clip. I think it was last night's. I haven't seen, because I usually watch your show one day, like delayed, because I'll check it on Spotify. That's why I asked the other day. But
listen,
but if he was doing that, I just caught the clip of him destroying his own life, and it's just like, these kids don't realize that their Discord group is not the public. It's not the. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you
it's
said
not
it.
The public square.
I'm glad you said that. I was just waiting to say. People believe that the shit that they're talking about on Discord and the edgelording that they're able to do in their Discord servers is the way that it's starting to become socially acceptable to express those thoughts out in the public, and they're not ready for the reaction of being that outcast, because it's listen, there's a lot that we've been held. And Pete, thank you for bringing this up today. Great call. Thank you so much.
Hey man, did you need another loop? I'm sensing that. I'm sensing you're looking for
anytime you want to keep things fresh, you call everybody. Pete is the guy who created those great, quite frankly, standby screen loops that I love the three that we use all the time now. But anytime you get any inspiration, man, just send them my way.
I'll try. It's more about time. I'm trying to get my own thing off the ground, but it's more about time. But I'll definitely try and put some time aside for you.
Don't worry.
Nice way to contribute. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Right, you have a good night, man.
Thank you, and don't put yourself out, whatever you do. But yeah, we discussed this a lot. No doubt about it. There has been a vice grip placed on us and the way that we are able to express ideas. Whatever the hell it is, the way that we're able to analyze history, figures of history, anything that smacks of Adolf Hitler, forget about it. The Holocaust, you can't talk about anything. That's just the way it's been. You can't. There's so much that we've been held back from. We talked about this a couple of years ago as well, when those studies came out, showing just racially, when you talk about race relations and how each race has obviously been encouraged to be self-interested in their ethnic background, their culture, to be self-interested in how things can, how they can represent themselves in the open marketplace of anywhere, whether it be ideas, the economy, whatever. Every race except white people, who completely who seem to have been trained to work against their interests. That's all part of the grooming that's going on here. It's all intentional. It's a part of systemic censorship and self-censorship and theft and the whole victim mentalities that is either awarded, taken away, whatever the hell it is. There's a lot that's been done, a lot that has been set up to ensnare us and to control us, and so there's a lot to be spoken about. You have to talk about these things. When you start seeing the strings attached to everything, now it's gotten to the point where everybody's drinking from the fire hose and they just want to say all the things they haven't been able to say. But it's not that simple. It's not that easy. It's not that. Listen, there are some really evil people and organizations that are at work right now that are trying to keep people hating each other, keeping the government growing and centralizing. But our issues is not that, hey, that group over there, it's easier for them to say bad words than me. So I want to go out there and I want to push for an ethno state or whatever the hell it is, and then you start realizing, oh man, I've just completely alienated myself. And real life is not my Discord server. It's just not. It's not. People act completely different on the internet, and then they step outside of that, and it's not real. Realize that real quick. And then everybody disappears into a quiet life of, I just don't know. They just disappear. Let's take a call. 289. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, it's Dragon Sage. How are you doing, buddy?
What's going on? Good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's been a little while. I thought I just heard my brother Tim there. He's in the same province as me, and it's been deadly hot here. But your last comment there just prompted me to call in. I promised Mr. Mission Control a little while ago that I'd call in and talk about some stuff. I don't know if this is on topic for him, but the thing that you were just saying about the demonization of white culture, and I guess what would have historically been known as the Aryan people or the ancient Scythians. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely on target. That group of people, or basically us, have been fiercely demonized in the last couple of hundred years through literature, entertainment, news, every way possible, schools, and it's not really a secret to anybody who's looked into it, who's doing this and why. I would recommend to anybody that wants to know a little bit more about it to look into, some of you might disagree with this, but I would say look into the work of Cliff High and his Substack and the things that he's talking about now. He's right on the money, and you're close to the mark. You're skirting around it. You're over the target, but I know these are difficult things to talk about, and it's a good way to get yourself canceled or marginalized talking about these things. But I think it's kind of time. We have the communications technology available to us to talk about this in an open way, and maybe solve some of the problems that we're seeing right now in a way that's fair before it's too late for us as a people.
But here's the thing. When you talk about Aryans, I'm not an Aryan. And you talk about white culture. You're talking about monolith. When you speak that way, it sounds like a monolithic movement of people. But it's
and you
not.
know what? This is partly due, Frank, to the bastardization of the words and the manipulation of language that's taken place in the last few hundred years as well, and certain icons, certain symbols, things have been demonized and driven from our culture, and a lot of these things are they're not the devils that they've been made out to be. This is a very convenient way to marginalize a people, and if you look at the root origins of the word Aryan, it basically means almost the same as Iranian, but these were the northern Europeans. They were the Scythians, and the Scythians, their symbol was the swastika. Yeah. And they were northern herdsmen and archers, horseback archers, that basically settled what was the known world 6,000 years ago. They settled everywhere. They brought culture to every root culture that we now look at as being our root cultures, whether you want to say the Irish or the Greeks or the Taoists, the Buddhists. Gautama Siddhartha was a Scythian. He was a Scythian prince. And also the people that became the Celts, the people that became the Scots, they all were Scythians.
Well, listen, but here, Dragon Sage, what you're getting into right now, I'm sure that there's going to be people who this gets their goat, and they hey, give me all the books you can, give me all the books you can suggest to me, and I'm going to just read this over the course of a summer and a winter, and I want more, I want more, I want more. What I'm talking about is something a lot more basic, as far as if you want to talk about racial identity, the identity of a person when they look themselves in the mirror. When you talk about white culture, right? You tell an Italian and a German that they're all the same. They're not ethnically. They're not. Now, what you're doing. Purposefully. But what you're saying is, if you go back a certain amount of time, you can find communal origin points, and we need to start. And like I said, that is going to be something that somebody really wants to jump into. But for our purposes right now, here in 2025, what we're seeing is that people are being disallowed from pursuing their own interests because it has become state mandate that not all people were created equal, and there is a certain group of people who have made it that way, and now this is a corrective measure, this kind of slavery that we're all in. That needs to be done away with. And in learning ancient history is not going to reverse that. It's just not going to. because there's enough right now just to say this is unethical, it's immoral to have the state be this racist. Yeah, I mean, for example, Pete brought up Hulk Hogan before. You should see the compilations of people who are comfortable just celebrating Hulk Hogan's death because he said some racist things, things that, you don't want to be heard saying out loud. You don't want to be heard saying out loud. Most of us would not want to be heard saying this stuff out loud. It could be a career killer. It could be very embarrassing. You can isolate yourself from longtime friends, whatever the hell it is. That's just the way it is. It's uncomfortable to talk that bluntly about things like that. But at the same time, it is no more ugly than the stuff that we see being said on Black Twitter, as they call it, right now, all day. It, in fact, pales in comparison to the shit that we see published all day, every day. And why is that? Because that has been allowed, that has been nurtured as it's not a nice thing to say, but we understand why. That kind of a thing, that's something that's happening right now. You can see those levers of power, how they're uneven, who's controlling them, and they need to be done away with. And that can all be done without having to put yourself into some kind of a monastery and relearn 6,000 years of human history. It's just, and when you start jumping on those soapboxes, there are audiences that want that. For example, Dragon Sage probably loves Robert Sepper's work. There are people who are soaking that up. They want to know anthropologically what's going on in the world and the out of Africa theory and how much of bullshit that is and this whole thing. But you don't need to go that far to realize that we have true civil rights issues that are happening right now, right here, and they are a lot more shallow. You don't have to go that deep. So I get that. It's with the Candace Owens things. We're talking about that before. I guess it goes into I don't know how that ties into the birth rate thing, but yeah, okay, let's keep going. Karina, you're on the air.
Hello, Francis.
Who is this?
This is Karina, a.k.a. Carrie Bella, a.k.a. Frankie Fawcett's wifey.
Oh, what's going on?
How are you?
Karina and Frankie hanging out tonight. Good to see you.
Good to hear from you. So I'm giving you a call because I know around this time is when you start doing open line. I haven't watched the show, but today is a very special day.
Oh,
and it's Frankie's birthday, and I would like to wish him a happy birthday.
Oh, you're wishing Frankie Fawcett happy birthday. He's sitting right next to you. Happy birthday, Frankie.
Yeah, she just ran up on me in the kitchen, Francis.
Well, imagine that. She got through. What amazing time. Is today your actual birthday?
Yes, sir.
Wow. I'm so happy for you. You survived another year.
Ditto, right? I woke up. Every day above ground is a blessing.
I know. That's fantastic. So how you guys celebrating?
Call. Give me a kiss, man. Bam. Yeah, Frankie. You know me. I'm always burning something, trying to make a sandwich. I'm enjoying my birthday, and I hear your voice out of the side. I'm like, what is she doing?
What's up, Frankie?
There you go.
What up, everybody?
Welcome.
I appreciate the shout out. Go ahead. Do you think, Francis?
Well, hey, it's good to hear from you. Happy birthday, my friend. Roll a fatty and have a good one. Enjoy the cake.
Yeah.
Roll a fatty, enjoy the cake. That's all you got to do on a day like today. On a day like today. Okay, so, boy, we really got into it so far. This is going to be great. That's the other thing there, too. You say, well, even now I'm thinking about the whole identity thing. Going back to what Pete was saying, the first caller from Canada, people are being duped into thinking that they are fascists because I think they're being duped into thinking that this is some sort of a logical and most effective form of government or political organizing that could be done on the lines of race. I don't know what it is. Yeah, white culture versus white identity. And then what happens? What happens when it's, the Protestants versus Catholics? We just watched Gangs in New York. In the eyes of modern America, all of those WASPs and those Irish, they should have been locking arms, but they were hacking each other's heads off at 5 Points in Manhattan back in the 1850s. What the hell's going on there? And that's with a non-white population in this country at that time. What was it? How few? So I don't know how far you can go with all this stuff. It's definitely a time of rediscovery for a lot of people right now because things are so bad. And we see just how everything has been set up to take us down, from the economy and how that works, the government and how that's been mutated to leech into, instead of to preserve individual rights. Education, we were just talking about that with Barbie Rivera last night. It's essentially there to destroy children and individual identity and burn it all out of them. Hell, they've even convinced us to stop having families. So, yeah, there's plenty to be upset about, but I don't know how far back you have to go to find a solution that doesn't turn us all into armband wearing crazies. All right, let's go and take a real quick break. But before we go, because of course it's a Badlands night, so I want to do a thank you. A thank you to our first sponsor of the evening, and that is, you know it, Safe Streets. It's a perfect time to secure your home and your loved ones from me. Get free ADT smart home security system valued at $1,200 from ADT authorized provider Safe Streets. Plus, get a Google Nest doorbell camera at no cost and a $200 Visa gift card from Safe Streets, the most trusted name in home security with more than 106,000 4.9 star trust pilot reviews. Visit getsafestreets.com/Badlands or call 925-529-6524. That's 925-529-6541. I'm sorry. What the hell was I reading? 925-529-6541 to speak to a representative today. That's it. We'll talk to you in just a few seconds. We'll come right back.
Right, you alien assholes! In the words of my generation, up yours!
Ozzy, I understand the brand is going to get a lot of lemon faces out there. I'd be like, he's in, and I get a lot of that too. I understand. First of all, if you don't listen to the music and it's only ever been a background noise, you're gonna draw your conclusions, and that was that. Wide scale amount of love out there being shown for Ozzy in particular, but in a spiritual sense, there is a very interesting mix. I've seen people exacting some form of personal satisfaction in making guarantees that he is in hell right now. And that was mixed in with also a great number of people who were showing genuine concern for the state of his soul and were praying for his salvation, which I thought was interesting there too. And then mixed accounts of whether or not Ozzy was actually, living as a Christian, and in spite of the ghoulishness of his brand. And so, but you always see people out there and just purity spiraling, and it gets really, really ugly. And it's unfortunate, because if I were to die tomorrow, God knows. And then the people who didn't even know me and saw, if there were a headline on a small blog that somebody ran across, they would go research me and then form an opinion and say, who cares? He was a fucking fascist. He was a fucking this. He was a that. He was a potty mouth. Fucking, he's in hell. He's in hell. That's what you get with people now. Not you guys, of course. You guys are all great. But I'm just saying. Hate all this shit. Really do. It's very tiring. It's very tiring. And that's what you have meeting you away from politics. Thought the politics was tiring. People are being turned into nutcases. Except you guys. You guys are fine. All right, let me get to the super chats and then all of these calls that are coming in. Jay Britt says, greetings from one of your white devil deplorable... Jay Britz from one of your white devil deplorable regulars. Great show tonight, Frank. Let's see here. Sapphire Blue says, thanks for all you do. Can't wait for September to meet and greet. Our mind control here in the States have propagandized us to stop procreating. It is a major part of it. It's a major part of it because if there was a will, and by the time American boys and girls are reaching 18, 19 years old. They're getting out of high school. They're many of them start marrying their high school sweethearts again. They're essentially doing everything that I was never encouraged to do. I love everybody. I'm like, oh, you're too young. You got to see the world. See the fucking world. You know how many people I know who have seen the world? Okay? I have friends who go on regular vacations. They've been places. I don't know anybody who has, I have to see the world. No, you saw the bar. Saw the bar and the city and just wanted it's just been one big sleepover party. It's been one big slumber party. I don't know the things that people tell each other to encourage putting important parts of important things in life off that I realize. Like then again, when I think about what I've done with the band and all the gigging that we did, how much different would my 20s have been if Lauren and I, when we met in 2005, it's going to be 20 years that I know Lauren come September. 20 years I've known Lauren in September. In fact, when I meet a lot of you guys in September, it'll be just about a week or so before Lauren and I can say it was like the couple of days after my brother's birthday, like around the 20-something out there. 20 years. What if in my junior year and Lauren's sophomore year of college, that was it? What if we were already geared up, getting ready to marry about a year or two after we met, after college was all wrapped up and we started having children back then? How different would things have been? Well, knowing Lauren, I know that she wouldn't have gotten in the way of the things that I wanted to do. She wouldn't have gotten in the way of my music and, of course, all of the broadcast aspirations, but it would have been a lot harder to apply myself, especially since there were the landscape that we have right now, the technology that everybody has right now to start a channel, start streaming, and to work the algorithm and get noticed instantly overnight. Some people just know how to play the game that well. That was not the case. So it would have diverted me. I don't know what path I would have taken to get to where I needed to be, but somewhere along the line, I would have had to have a little bit more of a serious job than just personal training to pay the bills and to, wait until the right time. I think about that shit all the time. Really do. So yeah. I think that just a change in mindset, how people are propagandized to stop procreating or put things off until you're mid to late 30s and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden you're saucing up with every kind of drug you can to try to get pregnant because you're running into what naturally is going to become a little bit more of a challenge for especially women going into your late 30s, early 40s. There's still probably very fertile women out there, but on average, that starts becoming a little bit tougher. And I think that if that propaganda is gone, then a lot of the environmental challenges that we have right now would actually not hold us back too much, but it would be there. I mean, there's biochemical things that are in decline right now. What do you do about the testosterone thing? What do you do about it? There's not one cause for that, but it's happening. Thank you so much. Road Trip says, new moon today, so start a resolution. Yeah, okay, my resolution is I'm going to have a good sleep tonight. I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to stay asleep. That's my resolution. I'm going to go home. I'm going to drink a pound of salt so I have all of the minerals I need, and I don't feel any tingly bullshit that wakes me up at 2 in the morning. I don't know what the hell's been going on this week. It's been a rough week. It really has been. All right, let's see. Over on Rumble, let's see what people are doing over there. Jay Semo, excellent show as usual. Thank you, Jay. Let's see. Moving along there. And Haywood says, white people have been tied to the whipping post, and that includes Italians, some Spanish, and few light-skinned blacks. Yeah, well, it's really ugly out there. But that's why you have to not pay attention to it sometimes. The best thing you can do. Jep863 says, trans movement, MK Ultra, bioweapons, poisons in our food, water, air, 3 jobs, and can't even afford a house. And also divorce rates. So there's a lot there to unpack. 3 jobs and can't afford a house. It's sick. It's sick what you have to earn to have no troubles. It really is. All right, let's take a call. 440, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, this is the white and privileged Andra Cobalt Cat. How are you doing this evening?
Hello, white privilege Andra.
No, I just want to say, once again, I'm enjoying your show. And my thoughts, I agree with, what's his name, Pete from Canada, regarding Candace Owens. I used to really, really like her, but I just feel like she's gotten too big for her britches. And I don't know, it's just kind of getting ridiculous. And it just kind of annoys me, some of the things that she posts on Facebook. I mean, I still follow her, but I don't know. They're just, I think that she's gotten too big, and that's it.
And from my standpoint, I never really watched. You can't avoid some people, and you over years, you can just see, wow, how they've gone places and they've done things, and especially from where they started. Like I think Candace Owens, she started out by a couple of rants that she put out on Facebook about the system, and especially how it I don't know how the system works against minorities and things like that, and then of course goes and uses all of those failures and turns it into some kind of a reason to go out and campaign against about reform of one thing or another, because it's really racism that's holding people back and not the system itself built as a feature, not a bug. So I remember those early Facebook rants. Everyone's like, "Oh wow, this was refreshing." That's a long time ago.
As an individual, like you, as an individual who does what you do with your current show, I really like how you keep it cozy, you keep it real. You're a great interviewer. You're very professional, and I definitely know that you want to grow your brand. And you're always in my prayers every day. But I just like how you keep it cozy and real, and keep being you, and that's all. Thanks.
Well, Andra, I appreciate you, and I'll tell you one thing. Here's a little personal thing for me. I work tirelessly, and I'm always trying to figure out if there's something missing and something's not working, or I always try to figure out what the hell can I tweak to add a little bit more juice to the situation. It's just the production, even the things that you're not seeing. And I've often been between those places of, okay, got to go to the next level. And then something happens where people just walk through absolute booby traps in the media, and they're targeted, and there's shit going on outside of, I don't know, you think about all the problems, the security problems that people like Tim Pool have and shit like that. And I'm like, I don't know. That just comes with people watching you. because it just means that out of the population of people watching you, the population of whatever, so I often waffle between, okay, well, how do I make the show better? Because I always want to introduce myself to new people, but at the same time, I'm always thanking God for this audience I have and for the leisurely pace in which we are walking with each other. And I am totally fine most days of the week with being one of the better kept secrets on the internet, and for us to just continue to have really enthralling shows and conversations and call-in nights and all that stuff. And we can be the new underground, and hopefully we can stay right brimming to the top before we spill over, because you know what? When that eye of Sauron comes down on you, holy shit. Holy shit. I have to imagine it's hard to keep cozy at that point. Anyway, let's see here. Stephen and Lori says, Hulk Hogan ruined Steven's 60th birthday. We went to Key West to celebrate, made reservations at Manja restaurant. They sat us at a tiny two-top in the middle of the dining room, and just as we finished placing our dinner order, the Hulk walked in. They sat him next to us, and it all went to hell. Some scruffy-looking guy came out of the kitchen and stood at Hulk's table, giving us a view of his nasty rear end for the rest of our stay. And, of course, the Hulk was served before they ever got around to bringing us our food, which the butt view kind of ruined. The butt view ruined our appetite anyway. Oh, I thought you were going to say Steven's 60th birthday was today, and he was such a big Hulk fan. And his death ruined the whole day for him. Oh, that's a completely different story. I went somewhere unexpected. Safety Net says, I just a love bomb from One Love, Lynn, again. Well, thank you for that. Shaquille Oatmeal says, new Terry Hogan. Very cool dude, exactly what you'd expect. Nick was drifting during this time, and one of the shops I frequented worked on his Supra. Rest in peace. Wow, well, love those calls from people who have actually known them all. If you have any Ozzy stories, call in with them as well. With Car Guys New England, he said this, ladies and gentlemen, please remember, if you want to send a super chat to Quite Frankly Superchat.com to us directly, use QuiteFranklySuperchat.com. Do not save Stream Elements or Streamlabs, because if there's ever a day that we abandon one of those processors in lieu of something else for one reason or another, you won't be left in the dust. I saw this from Car Guys New England yesterday on Streamlabs because he wondered why I didn't read his super chat. Please, everybody, QuiteFranklySuperchat.com. There's a reason why I got that URL, because it'll never change. But Car Guys says, hi, Frank. I hope you and your family are doing awesome. Barbie was a great guest last night. Last night was my son Cyrus's 10th birthday. He enjoys watching the show every night with Shala and I, and that is incredible. So I just wanted to wish Cyrus a belated birthday. He turned 10 last night, and man, what a big day that is. Your first year of double digits. You'll never forget it ever again. My mother just texted me, said, say prayers for Tony Black. He's in the hospital. He had pain in his stomach, and they say it's dehydration. God, please. There's so many. I don't come on here to dump on you guys. I don't. But there's just so much. This is just another thing. So let's pray that is dehydration, please. Yes, everybody keep Tony Black in your prayers. That's directly from my mom right now. Dehydration. Couple of bags of saline and he's going to be fine. Just keep saying it over and over again. In Jesus' name. Okay, let's see. Let's take another call, shall we? 413, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hold on. I can't hear you. You're moving all over the place. Did you say this is Graydon?
Yeah, Grady from Massachusetts. Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
How you doing?
Are you wrestling with the phone, Graydon?
This one. Hang on a second. Yeah, is that better?
Yeah. Yes, it's much better.
Okay.
Okay, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. First of all, thank you for that stuff you sent with bumper stickers and such.
Oh, well, thank you.
Going to try and make this real quick, rapid fire on all three of the topics you brought up. So first of all, population. I saw this YouTube a while back. I don't remember the channel or anything, but his sources sounded legit and his argument was good. That it's very hard to count people in rural areas and in foreign countries. And they were estimating it may be as many as 500 million extra people on the planet not counted.
Extra. So they're saying,
Extra.
So what you've read is that, no, perhaps 8 billion is not accurate because there might be a 500 million more just hiding in the, hiding out in rural areas where you would have to imagine that it was less populated.
Right. And people all the good and just people, homeless people in other countries. It's just, it could be considerably higher. But what you're saying, way about flyover and just looking down on the world,
yeah,
8.5 billion people, 8 billion, 8.5 billion, we're still not crowded at all. We still got lots and lots and lots of room.
Well, that's what I heard. The old math was that even at 8 billion people, you should be able to fit them all in the state of Texas and give them an apartment of somewhere around 600 to 900 square feet. Some ridiculous number that they can all fit in the state of Texas. That even if it doesn't matter. So I mean, then that makes you think, okay, then if 8 billion really is the number, then why ever say that it's overcrowded still? The question, yeah. So
and we grow enough food on this planet to feed everybody really well. It's a waste and loss in the transportation and corruption, all that stuff. That would count on how much food is wasted. We grow more than enough food to support this planet.
I think the bigger thing when it comes to how large populations can strain one resource or another, Graydon, is really about how you can decentralize the sources of power and food and everything. So if you can localize food production, then you're going to have a far more stable population across the board. That one region
Absolutely.
One region of the world is not providing X amount of an entire country's or a foreign land's ability to eat. So there's things like that.
Absolutely. I don't want to spend too much time on that because I get to three rapid fire. About the Fed, fire, oh my God, what's his name? The Fed head, I've forgotten his name already.
Powell?
Fire him, Powell, and reform the Fed along the lines of Brendan Joe Williams stuff.
Wait. What was the statement you made?
End the Fed or reform it along the lines of what Brendan Joe Williams is talking about. Basically end the Fed.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to say, well, that's the only prescription I'm sure Brandon Joe Williams would have put forth, is just to end it all. Well, thank you, Graydon. I agree with you on that.
Okay.
All
and
right.
Really quickly, I'm a libertarian. I really don't care about a person's sexual identity, gender identity, all that shit. That's your personal business. But when you get into politics, I think the public has a right to know about these things because it's going to inform your decision-making process. So in terms of, quote, Mrs. McComb, and in terms of Big Mike, and in terms of Kamala Harris, what really bugs me, I don't care if they were born male, I don't care if they want to be women, I care if they lied to the public about who they were. Other than that, I agree it's all just kind of silly.
Oh yeah, and I agree with you that, and thank you for the call. Because of course, if we were French, then that would be a lot more important. Or Obama, all the things that go on around about that family, or even I don't know, even the Clintons. That Chelsea is not Bill's daughter. Heard about that one, or hell, I mean Canada and Justin Trudeau and the Castros. I'm sorry, you send out all the to personal opinion. I think that it is a slam dunk, and there is no way you can convince me otherwise. To be honest, I think it's a slam dunk. So I think it really just comes down to what is the public interest on that, and you have to make a case for that. But the whole Candace Owens thing, I'll send my again. And how some of you guys have said it, the too big for your britches and all that stuff. For Candace Owens to say, "I'll dispatch some of my doctors to go to France," like Benjamin Franklin or something like that. I'm going to dispatch some of my doctors. I could see Candace Owens' doctors, taking the long journey across the Atlantic in a wooden boat or something like that, with all their needles and their centrifuges. I'm going to dispatch my doctors to go and collect DNA samples from the First Lady of France. Like the fact that she put herself in a position to say that I'm willing to, I will go and do this myself. Give me your blood. It's just so silly. Now we'll check in on the story because it's entertaining, and why not? Why not be entertained? Here's a little bit. So I was right about the world population. World population is approximately 8.1 billion, they say, based on projections from 2022 when it reached 8 billion with a growth rate of about 0.83% annually. The area of Texas has a land area of approximately 268,596 square miles. To work with consistent units, convert this to square feet. 1 square mile is 27,878,400 square feet. Now, if you divide the total area of Texas by the world population defined space per person, you're talking, what is that? That's million, billion, trillion, 7,487,858,534,400 square feet. Divided by 8 billion, 100 million people. That is 924.43 square feet per person. So if the entire world population were to be placed in Texas, each person would have 924 square feet in space. That's about 30 feet by 30 foot area per person. If that's distributed evenly across the entire state of Texas. And then, of course, you talk about families of, I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 20. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of square feet, and it's all Texas. That's if the 1.8 billion they tell us is true. So imagine if it's not true how much space we have in the world. Imagine if it's not true. Because if it's not true, if 8.1 billion is not true, I don't see how we could be missing extra 500 million people. I think it has to be less than that. I don't know what you think. 765, go ahead.
Good evening, Frank. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, I was just going to call and give you our Ozzy Osbourne story.
Go ahead.
So all around the change, around 2000, somewhere between 2000 and 2004, I can't remember exactly when, there was a Black Sabbath reunion. They went on tour, and they made it part of the Ozfest. And Ozfest came here to Kansas City, and we could usually get tickets to that and go. And so we went just to see that show, and we got there. We had reserved seating in the festival area because it's an outdoor venue, and we ended up sitting behind a doctor who got free tickets, and we got there early enough that we had a chance to visit. And he said that Ozzy came in last night, and they called me up and had me come give him a vitamin B12 shot so that he could perform today. So that was kind of an interesting tidbit. And it was a good show. It was nice to meet the doctor, and that was an interesting event that happened.
B12.
So that's my Ozzy Osbourne story.
That's it. That's it. A B12 shot. He could have taken worse things, right?
Yes.
You know, there's actually a story. Let me see if I can go find this. It was Zach Wilde. This was from a while ago. Hopefully, I won't get my channel in trouble here, because when I played that shit from before, it didn't work out too well. Zach Wilde tells funny. I put this in my playlist before.
And then
hold on. Okay, well here, Sentinel, take a listen to this one. This is Zach Wilde, who was Ozzy's longtime guitarist, Black Label Society founder, playing with Pantera right now. What's his story? This story I thought was pretty funny.
Tell us another Ozzy Osbourne story.
not that we were just cracking up, talking about it before, talking about the partying or whatever, you know. Someone was asking, "Oh, Zach, you don't drink anymore or whatever." I was like, no big deal. I just smooth buckets of glue now. So I replaced the booze with the glue. But the whole thing is, Oz was sitting there Oz was having a cup of tea, and I was having a cup of coffee with him, and Mom and Barb went out to go see a movie or something like that, so we're in the house. And he goes, "Zach, I don't drink anymore. I don't do drugs anymore. I don't even smoke. I never thought I'd give that up." And he goes, "My schlong doesn't even work." Then I go, Ozzy, he goes, then Oz just pauses for a second. He looks me right in the eyes. He goes, "Zach, why am I alive?"
I don't know. I love stories like that. Oh. Well, at least Ozzy got a couple of kids before his schlong stopped working. But anyway, there's that. I'm not gonna have any time to talk about this Uber change. Will I? I guess we can do it tomorrow night. I guess we can. Hold on. You know what? I have something I need to do, and I have a voicemail I want to play. But the first one up. Wait. Where did I put it? Where did I put this thing? Come on now. Oh, okay. Here you go. Okay, real quick. I have to do another break because we're on with Badlands, and I want to make sure that we say thank you in a proper way. Here we go. Don't go anywhere. Badlanders, unleash your passion with Badlands media and merch. Dive into warm weather with Badlands-themed games and sporting goods, from ping pong balls to golf balls, hockey pucks to frisbees, and even a Badlands pickleball set. Damn, they got everything. What about the bocce? Badlands, no bocce sets? Sip your favorite brew, whether it's coffee, hops, or whatever quenches your thirst, all while making a statement. Think rugged tumblers, sleek coffee mugs, beer steins, whiskey glasses, and more. Car accessories, from vanity plates to carb magnets and tech gear to let you rep Badlands everywhere. What about harpoons? Everybody needs a harpoon while they drive these days. It's not just t-shirts and hats. Our store is bursting with bold, high-quality gear to fuel your summer vibe. Check out these Badlanders rocking their gear. Just look at them. Join the crew. Head to badlandsmedia.tv/merch. Grab your official Badlands merch. Spread the word loud and proud. Be sure to tag Badlands if you post your selfie on social media so they can say hi and see how far we can reach together. That's it. badlandsmedia.tv/Moich. Moich. That's spelled MERCH. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Here's a call from Problematic Todd. Speakpipe.com/Quite Frankly. Voicemails are fantastic. I love to hear from them, especially if you're part of the culture clubs.
Frank, this is Problematic Todd. Great show tonight. I really enjoyed your conversation with Barbie. I wish my son, who's a teenager now, had a school situation like that, because we struggle mightily. But I also wanted to say, you really hit a chord with me in your show when you were talking about how everything's a psyop, because I was just talking to my brother yesterday, who's very smart but very much a normie. He doesn't believe, he's a coincidence theorist, as I like to call him. But I said to him, and I've been saying over and over for the last couple months, I don't know what to believe is true anymore about Munch, but all I know is everything is a psyop after psyop after psyop. That much I do believe to be true. And finally, Frank, listen, if you give away any tickets to your jamboree, please, I ask you kindly, do not give away any tickets to anyone in Alaska. Last time I talked on your show, we confirmed I am the farthest domestic traveler coming from Oregon. So please, Frank, please keep the free tickets inside of my radius, please. I am very much looking forward to the farthest domestic traveler award.
There you go. So I can't give away any tickets to anybody in Alaska because Todd wants to be the farthest domestic traveler, or Hawaii for that matter. Strangely enough, that's domestic. Just an isolated little island in the center of the Pacific Ocean. Island chain. Okay, let's take a call from Dean. How are you, Dean?
Hey, Mr. Call Screener, do me a favor. Go in the other room and get Frank. Get him on the phone. Take your time, because I need time to put you on speakerphone and turn the volume up so we get plenty of feedback.
Good. Okay, you take it. Give me a moment. 1 second. Frank will be right there.
Yeah.
This. Hello?
Yo, Frankie. Is this Frank?
Hey, is this Dean? You're on the air.
Oh, there he is. There, long time no talk, buddy. What's
I
going
know.
on?
You know what? I'm just burning the midnight oil over here. What the hell's going on with you?
Well, I thought I'd just call in for a second, and I can tell you that back in, I think I was 10 years old. It would have been 1989, maybe 1990. My mom found my copy of Ozzy Osbourne, "No Rest for the Wicked." Shit hit the fan.
Uh-oh. I mean,
But
hey, listen, that was we're still in the throes of the satanic panic right there, man. He was the tip of the spear.
Yeah, absolutely. But I ended up getting it back. I remember I found it eventually. It was like, I think in like a junk drawer or something somewhere, and I found it, and it wasn't long after, she took it from me. But yeah, I got it back, and it was a pretty good record. I liked it, but I had no idea about any of that. I just liked the jams to it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's a lot of that out there. Even these days, it's strange for me because I still to this day, I'll get a hankering for certain songs that I know the subject matter they're talking about, the things that they say, whatever. It's sacrilegious. There are things that are just not good, not the things that don't really resonate with me. And even when I was younger, they didn't resonate with me outside of the fact that perhaps I felt amped up because the music is well put together, the actual music aspect of it, but then there's also just this general aura of rebelliousness, But there's always that. Like when I get I'll tell you, it's people wouldn't like some of the songs that I can go to right now. They would not like it, but.
Yeah. I mean, I know several people like that. I mean, I'm a member of a church. I even play in my church band, but I mean, back then as a child, I had no idea about the words in the lyrics. I had no understanding. I just liked the sound of it. And I never sat around and comprehended it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what it meant. And that's, I don't know. It's kind of, it's one of those like gray area thing, it's kids are going to be kids and they do what they do, but even nowadays, I'll get up on Sunday morning, go to band practice, which is one of my favorite parts of the week. The jokes that drop in that place. Oh my gosh. And then, I'll get in my truck after service and, I'll turn on Ozzy or I'll turn on Metallica or something.
Yeah.
It's like one time there was a sermon where our pastor brought up Metallica, like in a very, negative sense, like, people, drinking alcohol and doing drugs and listening to Metallica.
Oh, listen,
And-
Dean, I'm on the outside of so many people's circle of decency. I understand that, and that's why I talk for as much as it comes up on the show, because it's important to me these days. I really do limit what I make public about my spiritual life, my religious life, and all that stuff, because I see how people post. I know that the tattoos and all that stuff. I see the hardline stances, the demeaning hardline stances that people take on anybody who has one square inch of ink on their body. What they must think about me, how I'm judged that way, how I'm judged this way. I'm a Catholic, so I'm a pagan. I mean, I get it. So I understand that 100%. And so even when it comes to something like a band, I mean, going to Catholic schools, me and my friends, we started listening, picking out all of our own music and getting into all the bands that we like and the music that we like today around middle school. And our middle school teachers, half of them were nuns, and so whenever heavy metal came up, we're sitting there in class, we're looking at each other smirking, because we know that after the show we're putting K-Rock on, we're going to listen to some degenerate shit, and we're going to love it. And and it's just the way, I don't know, it's all fucked.
Yeah, it was, but I mean that was part of growing up back then, and I guess that's, I don't know, I don't latch on to lyrics very much. I mean, I guess it gets to a point, where it's like, okay, my kids are not going to listen to this. But dude, I have no problem with my kids riding my truck and I crank up Metallica. I've done that, or even Ozzy or whoever it is. It's something nostalgic for me, and it's like that's what I did when I was a kid with, whatever my uncles or my dad would. Turn on Waylon Jennings even. And at some point in history, people called that, devil music. Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley, they had to shoot him on Ed Sullivan. They had to shoot him from the waist up because his hips gyrating were said to be obscene and suggestive. He had to be shot from the waist up.
Yeah, but I mean, even after that sermon that my pastor had mentioned, Metallica, I went to him sometime after that, not that day, but, I said, Pastor, I said, your comments on Metallica, I get it, but I can tell you I'm a huge Metallica fan, and there ain't nothing wrong with it. And I said, if you got to know those guys, and this is not too long ago, only a couple years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, I said, they're pretty based, man. And then I never got any commentary back from him on that, so I doubt he went and looked at it, but yeah.
Okay, well, Dean, there's hold on, I gotta find this now. It was Philadelphia. Is that where me and Anthony went? I gotta find this one part. Yeah, obviously we're talking about Metallica now, so I'm thinking about Fade to Black, which of course is a song about suicide.
Sure.
And hold on, let me see if I can find something. Thank you for the call, okay?
Yeah, absolutely, Frank. Love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Love the show.
Be good. Thank you so much. Let me see. Where the hell was it? He did it at our show. I know it happened. Let me see here. Metallica, Philadelphia. Let me see. Philly, May 26th? I think it was the 26th. I don't know. Let me see.
Is not worth.
Here we go. This is stopped right in the middle. Yeah. Hey, that was I really appreciated that little break there too. Because I'm sure that Fade to Black was one of those, it's about suicide, it's all dark. Yeah, well, you know what? There's a lot of darkness in life. If you can't write about it, if you can't sing about it, or if you can't do it successfully, I don't know. But I get it. And again, these are 60-year-old men over here in Metallica, so they've done a lot of growing compared to the 20-something-year-olds they were when they wrote those songs in the early 80s. So it's how much room do you have for people? That's why I don't really. Anyway, hard for me to throw somebody out, just cast them out, especially if I see a tattoo. Oh my God. The judgment, the cringy ass judgment I see people do because of tattoos. As if that is the worst thing. Okay, well, it's 8:50. I'm going to save this other stuff, the Uber stuff, for tomorrow. I'll change the title of the show. Who the hell knows? Tom Homan, this is from ST, says Tom Homan today, when asked if he had any thoughts or fond memories regarding the passing of Hulk Hogan, he says, I had a 200-pound Italian mastiff. Wait, 200 pound? 200, really? A 200-pound dog? A 200-pound Italian mastiff named Hulk Homan. Wow. That's a gigantic dog. I've seen mastiffs before. They are big, but I didn't know 200 pounds. Heavier than I am. At least this summer. Started last summer, I was 204. The hell with that. I would have killed somebody if I can get that heavy when I was in high school. Killed somebody. When I was in high school, I wanted to gain weight. I was in the gym. We were working out, really, really trying to not be rail thin. The last thing I'd do before bed, I would drink a 2,500 calorie weight gainer and pop open a can of tuna fish and eat it right out of the can, and then wash it all down with a little bit of water. So I had to overwhelm my metabolism. Not good, Frank. Not good. Wish I could go back and train myself. Anyway, Jay Britt says, greetings from one of your... Oh, that's from before. The White Devil. Thank you, White Devil. Good to have you out there. Quite devilly. Quite. QWHITE. Quite devilly. That's the new show name. If I get sued out of using, quite frankly, from the Desert Rat. If the Desert Rat, I want to tell you guys so bad. I'm having less and less control. I'm losing control. Molly already treated me for my 32nd birthday. Oh. From the Internet Concert History, Tuesday, June 19th, 2001, Sandstone Amphitheater, location, what is this? What is that? What are you talking about? Whose concert is this? I don't know. Let's take another call. 406, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Frank Cleves and the Hulksters run wild on America. Oh yeah.
Oh, they're all back. They're all together. They're all together now. Nothing's going to keep them apart. Oh, let's see. John from Connecticut, what do you got to say? John? 817. Go ahead. Hey. Hello? Hello?
Hey, Frank. This is Cloud9.
Cloud9, welcome to the show.
Yeah, just real quick, I wanted to touch on two different things. The first one was going back earlier to what you said about how do you solve the population crisis.
Yes.
Personally, I believe that ultimately the first thing you need to do is ban all plastic in any type of food packaging, and then just make sure that tap water, and more specifically, the line that goes from your water tower to sewage, all of that gets filtered out because testosterone and estrogen have been basically whacked out of order. And then also to add to that, businesses need to lower the standard and stop gatekeeping. I don't know if you've seen the market as of late, but with entry-level jobs to IT and finance, they're asking for unrealistic expectations for recent graduates of college or high school, such as you need to have 3 years of experience for an entry-level position, which is insane. So we need to basically do a full-fold excavation of everything related to that. And then just to touch on, obviously, the sadder subject, rest in peace to both the legends of Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne. Both in their own merits were obviously controversial figures in, more specifically for Ozzy, but with Hulk, obviously, you mentioned that controversy that happened with him being caught on camera saying some things he shouldn't have. But then there's also the whole Undertaker and him beef that he had back in '91. But ultimately, I think it's just an interesting kind of back-to-back, celebrity death. But I'm just curious about your thoughts on the whole situation. I mean, the rule of 3 has now turned into the rule of 4.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's, yeah.
Well, you have, what's his name from the Cosby Show? He was the first one. And then we had Ozzy, and then Hulk, and then Mangione, what was he, a trumpeter? I forget what the hell he did. But other people who pay attention to, deaths in other areas of great importance have put it up somewhere around 6. But when I read the names they were talking about, I didn't know, like some Japanese guy that did something, and I don't know, but it's 4. 3 is the traditional rule, and when you get into 3, when you get into these whole rules of, hey, these deaths, they happen in bunches, then we start getting into this really I don't know, subjective conversation as to who is important enough to meet the threshold of being one of the 3. Like, then you start scrounging around the internet to see if somebody died. Just say, can we consider this the one, the 3rd, so that the curse is over or something like that? Like, I don't know. I always found it's interesting. Like, for example,
and real quick to add to that, all this pro clutching that you've seen on the Twitterverse, and really I think it's just confined to Twitter because we see the worst in people, and I think Mike Tyson says it best. There's a lot of people who talk shit on Twitter without getting punched in the mouth. So I think most of this is mainly contained to Twitter, just, talking shit or trying to burn the reputation of both Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne, declaring that they know their destination in the afterlife. I think it's just ridiculous. And honestly, it harkens back to the satanic panic for Ozzy and just the moral grandstanding for Hulk Hogan. I'm just curious about your thoughts on that.
No, you're 100% right. Like I said before, there are people, and again, I say people because it's more than one. But what's the sample size? Anything that you witness on these social media programs? Yes, there are 100 million of users. How many of them are real? How many of them are really? And then, of course, who's going really outside of their comfort zone to go and be as provocative as possible? Because what do people want? They want attention. They want followers. They want they want validation from somewhere. Because obviously, the things that are happening online and the way that people virtue signal to each other online is in ways that you're not comfortable doing in real life. So when I see some people expressing some level of glee and certainty about where a person's soul is, the state of a person's soul after they have shed this mortal coil and they are off. They're off. Whatever journey they are on. It's perplexing. It really is. As if the people who are publishing this shit on Twitter are clean as the driven snow. That's what I don't get. I don't get that at all. But yeah, it's a lot of big cultural shakeups this week. Big ones. All right, it's 9:00. And you know what? The 2 hours went by in no time. And I just want to thank you all for being my co-hosts tonight and doing this show. We actually got a lot done, and I got a lot of comments on quite a few of these topics. It's not like one predominated. It was a very even keel, and I have a little bit left over for tomorrow. We'll see who I'll be with But one way or another, we'll end the show, the week of shows, nice and strong. And thanks for everybody being a part of this, and for giving me the wonderful influx of calls. This is great. All right. Well, in the meantime, go to quitefrankly.tv, check out the events page, and come out and meet us at the Jamboree in September. Come out and meet people. Shake people's hands. Eat food that is going to be clean and well. I mean, you think Jay Goulinell is taking care of everything, all of his chefs, everything. This is going to be wonderful. Sal the Butcher is going to be there. You're going to have such a good time. You're going to eat so well. And I'm going to make sure that everybody has a good time. That's what it's all about. Other than that, if you can't make it out, become a sponsor so you can watch what's happening. I will be launching several private streams across those nights. And in the meantime, while you're waiting for September to happen to peek in on those nights, you can join in on Book Club in August. You can join in on all of the Sunday streams that I do with people that are all unlisted and just for those who support the show monthly. That can all be found on quitefrankly.tv/sponsor. And I look forward to meeting you all and sending you welcome packages at home and samples of Keto Brainz and everything else. I take care of people. I go out of my way. It feels good that way. And yeah, until tomorrow, my friends, let me make sure I didn't miss anyone. I don't think I did. Thank you again to Badlands. Thursday is always a wonderful, wonderful privilege to be hanging out with you all. And I hope to see many of you for tomorrow night, Friday. Let's put a nice bow on this one, ladies and gents. Good night.
I'll catch you on the flip.
Goodbye.
All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody.